Ah, let's go. Woo. Let's go. Hit the like button for this one. I think you'll like this one. Want to say shout out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Want to say shout out to Welcome to HD IITV and Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez, Scrub Zero, Ticket TV, Dreamers Pro, and now you know. Let's get into this. Let's get knee deep into this. I love how Stephen A. always say his sources. My sources are telling me Adam Silver was eating breakfast this morning. That's all I'm gonna say. Your sources, let's go back and forth with sources, Stephen A. Because this is going to get a little interesting. Oh, yeah. Yes. Here we go. We finna get to it. They were so happy, just like a pig in slop, when Draymond Green inadvertently hit Nurkic. And they didn't make a decision yet. It went up. They said a whole bunch of stuff that pissed off a lot of people. And the people that they weren't intending to piss off, they thought they were going to piss off Draymond Green. Jay Williams going off. I wanted more games when he choked out Nurkic. You know, everybody thought Jay Williams was going to be the guy. Stephen A. never dreamed he was going to be in the guys in the crosshairs. Woo! He never dreamed it was going to be him. Because, see, here's the problem. What people don't see and didn't understand what was going on. You pissed off somebody you know you can't piss off. And that the person you pissed off is not Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr ain't the guy that you aggravated in this situation. You think it is, and a lot of people think so. Stephen Kerr is just disgusted by what you said. Now, for anybody kind of like myself who don't watch First Take, I didn't see it live. I was watching other sports. I watched Skip and them talk about it on the clip, but I don't watch Stephen A. You know, I'm not somebody that stands by him or nothing. Now, Steve Kerr called him out because he questioned the leadership of Steph Curry. And this is why Steve Kerr came out. But there's a whole nother thing that went on that day that led to the day you got yesterday. Oh, we're going to get into that. That's why we're here, ladies and gentlemen, because I have information that has not been provided to you. So that's what I'm saying. My sources versus your sources, Stephen A. I'm going to tell you what my sources did. I'm going to tell you what my sources gave me. And then you can come and compare. And you can go on your Stephen A. Smith show and call me a liar or say it did not happen. But I'm going to give you the layout so that the whole general public can know what I'm talking about, because they put all the attention on Steve Kerr. We're going to let y'all in on what happened. That's what I said. You're going to like this one. Now, when he came out and decided he was going to question the leadership of one Steph Curry,
their meeting is right now.
Listen to him when he start off.
Can't excuse it. He apologized. I can respect that. That was a flagrant too. He definitely should have been ejected. But we all know what's going to come down. We know that the league office is going to meet this morning. I can tell you right now, through my sources, they're meeting as we speak.
Woo!
Right now.
Through his
Right now.
sources. They're
They're meeting right now. This is not going to be a Joe Dumars decision. This is not going to be just a committee decision. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the National Basketball Association, is going to be directly involved with the decision that comes down involving Draymond Green. He's been warned on numerous occasions. I went off about how some of it I thought over the years has been unfair, but nevertheless, his reputation is his reputation. He was warned on numerous occasions. He was suspended 5 games already this year, and now here we are with this. They are going to bring the hammer down. And I'm going to say this, and I hope Draymond is watching this. The worst thing that could have possibly happened, believe it or not, to Draymond Green was that sound from Nurkic. When a player sits there and says, quote, I don't know what's wrong with him, they're trying to imply you have a problem. And there's nobody in a position to disagree with Nurkic. He's the one that got hit. He sat up there and joked, I'm glad he didn't choke me. Now, to me personally, it makes me uncomfortable to hear stuff like that because you're talking about anger management issues and you're saying, I'm glad he didn't choke me. And then you're saying that's not a part of the game. And you say, I don't know what's wrong with him. Unfortunately, on this particular day, I can't imagine a soul that's in a position to protect Draymond Green.
Now, he said something very indefinite there, right? Now, here's the thing. I have no problem with what he said right there, except for one section that I knew was going to cause a certain reaction. And not only did it cause a certain reaction, people saw it today and didn't even understand what they saw. And it was all because of what he said right there in that passage. And we're going to get back to that because that is a very big thing. Now, that led to the problems. Here's the other thing that got his other foot in his mouth. He put one foot in his mouth there, but this is where he put his other foot in his mouth. He kept putting his foot in his mouth.
Channel it. Steve, how about saying, you know what, this is completely unacceptable, and I don't want him on a team if he's going to continue to act like this. How about him putting the hammer down, and maybe he'll clean up his act a little bit? Green could be great.
Why do you think it happens, and how do you think his teammates feel?
Something back and what have you. And then not only that, with Steph Curry as your teammate, the greatest shooter that God ever created and what he brings to the table, you're going to have people that look at it. But you know what? At the end of the day, there is no way to slice this. He doesn't seem in control. It's just that simple. You can't, unless it's intentional, okay? Unless it's intentional, you're out of control. We've gotten to that point with Draymond. Listen, you know me. You know how I feel about the brother. I would look for any excuse that I could to defend him because I believe in him character-wise, but his actions have sullied all of that. There's no way around this. The reality is he seems like he is out of control, and I hate that. And my level of sensitivity heightens even more so as a black man because last time they were bringing up anger management issues, and that just pissed me off. You understand? Because I don't like giving credence to stuff like that. But when one incident after another happens, the reality is that somebody like Jay Williams comes along, man. You have a good point, bro. Nobody can argue with Jay Williams at this particular moment in time with what he's saying because he has the evidence to back it up. There's a preponderance of evidence against Draymond Green. Now, 19th ejection of his career. Only Rasheed Wallace has more in NBA history.
Yeah.
In NBA history. And Draymond, and by the way, Rasheed Wallace was never known for that. He was known for arguing with the refs.
Yeah. Jay, here's what I want to know for you. You played in the league. How should his teammates feel about this?
Oh, they should be troubled by it. The detriment of the team. So that brings a bigger issue. And Doggy, you know, I know you're a baseball guy. Remember, like with the MLBPA when they were apologizing to the players who were clean at the same time.
Right, exactly.
And you have Rudy Gobert, and now you have Yusuf Nurkic. Wow. So you have to protect the players who are actually playing the game the right way. Most important. And then secondly, I'll say this: the last one with Rudy Gobert was damn near 4 weeks ago. Stephen A. I lost my mom. I had a lapse of judgment. You and I had a serious ass conversation. I got calls from a lot of executives like, yo, what are we doing? Imagine if I went on TV 4 weeks later and had another lapse of judgment. What would happen to me? So I think you got a lot of people out here saying, well, wait a second. Repercussions are real for people. I know it's real for me. I know it's real for people like you, real for all of us. But why does it feel like it's not real for a guy like Draymond Green? Why does it feel like Draymond Green is above?
Well, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
Since you want to go there, let's go there. What about Steph Curry? You are the leader. If this were a teammate of LeBron James, we'd be asking LeBron, what you gonna do about it? Even though LeBron isn't the one that did something like that. We would have been asking. We've been pointing to his leadership. We've been pointing to the incredible role model that he is, the leader, the champion, the kind of impact and influence that he has. And we lean on all of those things to say LeBron, even if it had nothing to do with LeBron. But somehow, some way, we never asked that question about the babyface assassin who's the greatest shooter on the planet Earth, who's a 4-time champion and a 2-time league MVP, who, by the way, is class personified. And I can't think of a greater role model than Steph Curry. Remember the fight at the Garden between the Knicks and the Miami Heat when Jeff Van Gundy was grabbing Alonzo Mourning's leg? Mm-hmm. What?
Now he attacks Steph Curry. It was accidental. If he did it on purpose, Nurkic wouldn't have got up. He wouldn't have got up without help. He wouldn't have to try to sell it. If Draymond did that on purpose, he wouldn't have to sell it. We saw when Draymond do things on purpose, people go to sleep. So no, that was an accident. Now, let's go into what's really going on here. Did you hear what he said? The man came out and blamed, and literally blamed Oh, you never saw him get up, bro. He did not get up. He was helped up and helped out. They had to get the smelling salt. Oh, that boy was asleep. He still asleep. He ain't woke up since then. You seen him in Washington? That boy sleepwalking. That punch knocked his whole career off. Now, let's get to the whole situation in hand with this, because it needs to be personified. What we just witnessed right here from that little stanza right there, that really got under the skin of Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was ticked off when he saw that, because he felt that was so disrespectful. Now you're going to throw this whole blame on Steph Curry. Would you have thrown that blame on LeBron James had a teammate of LeBron's done it? No, you've been trying to cover for LeBron, saying it wasn't his fault. So now you're thinking of, how can I drag Steph Curry in this situation? Like, what was Steph Curry supposed to do in that moment? Draymond turns around, pop. What's Steph Curry supposed to do? Steph Curry was running the play. He didn't even see it. He turned around. Nurkic was just on the ground. He don't know how he got there. He didn't even see the play. So what is Steph Curry supposed to do? Huh? What could he done in that situation? It's your fault because you ain't got Draymond under control. He's a grown-ass man. What is his job as a leader? When he went over there and addressed Poole, who was sitting on the bench, who was talking to Draymond disrespectfully, Dre had to be cool because he couldn't say nothing to Poole. He had to go over there and check Poole and say, look, man, you being extra disrespectful, and had to put him in his place. Steph do things differently. He's not going to do it the way to put on a show like LeBron. LeBron going to get all mic'd up and try to do it. Hey, y'all listen. Come on in here. We together as a team. Come on. No, we've seen this guy on the court. I've never seen Steph Curry quit on his team on the court. This dude crying because Draymond Green gave him the ball and dribbled the ball and didn't shoot it, and they went to overtime. And they got 5 more minutes to play. Man, I'm like, what you mad at him for? Had the guy hit the free throw, you would have won the game. He missed. He got the rebound. He just thought like they had the lead. He didn't understand what was going on. You could have called the timeout immediately. You didn't. You was like, give him the ball, give him the ball, timeout. Then you're going to pout about it, cry on the sideline. It's like, did we have a timeout? Yeah. Oh my God. Then you're going to pout and sulk and carry that into overtime. You could have won the overtime. You didn't lose the game, dummy. It could have been worse. But that's poor leadership. Right before the game, the first season, the first time you went there to play Kevin Durant and the Warriors, you took them to Future concert. Yeah, man, we need a day to relax. And you got relaxed, all right? Because as soon as you got to go to state, y'all got whooped by 20 in both games. Look, man, they got a power hour. What we supposed to do? What you supposed to do? Then what the hell you doing there then, bub? Go home. Go chill out. Go on the Future tour. Damn. No accountability. So comparing him and then trying to drag Steph Curry, who's done already his whole career in less time, is asinine. Draymond did this, and you want to throw Steph Curry into it. It's insane.
commitment, his passion, his love for his teammates, his friends, his family. We're trying to help that guy because the one who grabbed Rudy, choked Rudy, the one who took a wild flail at Yusuf, the one who punched Jordan last year. That's the guy who has to change, and he knows that. Everything before that, over a decade of play, what are we really talking about, right? We're talking about getting ejected for yelling at the ref or throwing a ball. But you look at the past year and what's happened. It's clear he needs the opportunity to change, and that's what an indefinite suspension gives him the opportunity for.
Now, Steve Kerr is going to bring it up because he actually saw it when it was brought to his attention. But if you want to blame Steph Curry, Stephen A., the person you really could blame in this situation, we're going to get to that. Since you want to blame Steph Curry for Draymond Green, for not keeping Draymond in check. We'll get to that.
There's a lot of this that has to happen with people who are experts in this field. I want him to be happy. I want him to reap the rewards of an incredible leader of all time. But he's crossed the line. He knows that. He knows he needs help, and he's going to get the help, and we're gonna help him with it. But we're also not qualified to. But I'm not going to share with anyone. Yeah. You can watch the game tonight and find out.
He's allowed to be at practice.
Mhm.
Mike said today that you guys.
Yeah.
What is the plan with that?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, my gut is, I know he'll be in the Bay and he'll be coming in to the facility. He's going to maintain his conditioning and he's going to work. But we got to give it a few days and feel what this is about. And I think the team needs a little space. He needs a little space. I think Draymond will do what he feels is right, what we feel is right, and then move forward. The hard part with this, again, is it's not sprained ankle. It's the space and the time and the support he needs. I'm confident that he can come out on a better side. I know him, and so can he? What he has to do, and I believe in him. I think he's going to be able to do it. But I'm not sitting here saying off to obviously a slow start, kind of giving away 3 or 4 games at the end, you flip that and you win those games. It's an entirely different outlook. But of course, we didn't win those games. So this is the outlook we have right now, and we're in a tough conference, and I think in 11th place, and got a big climb ahead of us. So we need to. We have a lot of depth. I think that's one of the strengths of this team. Very deep roster. The bench has been, along with Steph, obviously, the bench has been, that's something that he wants to do, and that's something that our training staff will help him with.
Okay, I think this is it here.
We talk every single day. That's what the season is about. That's what being a team is about. It's collaborating and sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, trying to keep everybody confident and moving forward and motivated. And Steph is as good of a leader as I've ever been around. I mean, the guy is an amazing human being, and what he's done the past decade in leading this team through all of the ups and the downs and the turmoil. For anybody to question Steph Curry's leadership, it's actually. It's kind of sickening to me, and I saw some of that yesterday. It was disgusting. I'm talking about one of the finest human beings that I have ever been around. And, but that's the climate that we live in. And these guys, it's part of all of this. It's just the climate we live in and the arrows that are, slung at these guys and the judgment, the criticism, that's fine. But it's part of it. And it's not easy. We're all human beings. And so that's a big part of the job these days as a professional athlete. You have to deal with everything and you have to accept it. But there are times when you kind of have to say, really? Like, that's the angle you're going to take? You're going to question Steph Curry's leadership? Like, really? We're going to do that? Think about that. Okay, so that's all I got.
Wow. We're going to question Steph Curry's leadership. Are we really doing that? But let's talk about leadership. Let's talk about Dre. Because that's who the person is. That's who we're here to talk about. Draymond Green. That ain't the first time LeBron gave up on the team. He always throwing his teammates under the bus. Whenever they lose, just when they lost to the Mavs, what do you say? Me and AD we did the best we could. Me and AD was locked in. Me and AD. Me and AD, we was doing our thing. Me and AD. Just saying the rest of the team didn't. But anyway, they get 17 assists from Luka. Open shooters on the floor, everywhere. But let's keep this about Draymond. Right? Since you want to talk about leadership and drag Steph Curry into it, who's the guy he hangs with the most? Who the guy that created this problem with Draymond? Since he started hanging around with him, Draymond's whole game fell into the toilet. Who was that guy? Oh, I know who that guy is. LeBron James. LeBron James. That's right. LeBron Ramon James. He's causing all of this disturbance. That's who you should call out, Stephen A. That's the guy got him drinking Lobos. Yeah, we drinking Lobos. He was sitting in the barbershop drinking wine, drinking tequila, getting drunk with that bum. This dude got him slapped drunk all the damn time, drinking with him, putting him in clutch sports with him. He go join up, he hanging with Bron. So why you ain't throwing LeBron under the bus for his behavior? His behavior changed once he started hanging out with that bum. You say he feel like he's entitled. Who else is entitled in this league that he hang with? LeBron. He feel he up there with LeBron. So if he feeling entitled, that's who you need to get. He turned Dre to a damn alcoholic. His whole game fell off. Before he started hanging out with LeBron, they had back-to-back championships. They just went to 3 straight finals. Then he started messing with LeBron. All of a sudden, he hurt. He can't score. He can't hit a layup no more. I'm like, what the heck is going on with Draymond? Draymond used to hit threes. Now he's shooting like this. Shoot the ball hitting the top of the rim. He's looking like LeBron. I'm like, man, he's looking like LeBron now. He go in for the layup. He don't even have the coordination right. He just looking weird when he go up for a layup. It's like not supposed to happen. I mean, damn, Draymond, you don't even know how to go up for a layup anymore? 1.5. How you got to go back to training camp. 1.5. 1.5 and up. What you doing? No. So ever since LeBron got involved with Draymond, Draymond fell into the ocean. Then in the finals, he had to come back to beat Draymond. He had to start arguing people, kicking people, yelling. Oh! He was like a raging drunk when they were down 2-1 in the final. They were like, this the Draymond that needed to show up. Come on, Dre, get back to the old Dre. Then they won that chip. He went right back down the spiral again, hanging out with Bron. Yeah, look at it, we drinking Lobo. Yeah, we drinking Lobo, and we telling them to shut up. Yeah, shut up. Shut up. We drinking Lobo and telling them to shut up. He started getting right back drunk. So why didn't LeBron come in and grab him and say, hey, man, you signed with us, you with Clutch, you one of us, I know you my boy. Man, I got to call and reach out to you. I got to help you out. That's his homeboy. So if you want to throw somebody under the bus, you throw that bum. Don't call out Steph. Steph ain't drinking Lobos. 6 in a row by the Clippers. What's good? But that was just one of his problems today. Now let's go to the other problem that they were faced with today. That was so
Draymond, I think it's an
concerning. Now, as I told you, they opened their mouth and they went way past the gun line. They went way past the line. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, when you guys, you probably didn't first get here, but when he first got here, he said something real slick. He said, from his sources, that he know, and from what they've told him. Remember?
That the league office is going to meet this morning. I can tell you right now, through my sources, they're meeting as we speak. Right now, dog. They're meeting right now. This is not going to be a Joe Dumars decision. This is not going to be just a committee decision. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the National Basketball Association, is going to be directly involved with the decision that comes down involving Draymond Green.
Wow. Now, it got even more disrespectful as it continued to go into the respect that they had for Joe Dumars. But he said Joe Dumars would not be making this decision. That's what he said. That's what he said. The man said Joe Dumars, who is the executive vice president of the NBA, will not be making this decision. Let me tell you, Joe Dumars is a very proudful man. He's quiet. He doesn't say much, doesn't talk. He's got an award in the NBA that's named for him, for the person who is the most honorable, most kindest person. They call the Joe Dumars Award. It's an excellence of standard in the NBA. Joe Dumars never received a technical foul in his entire NBA playing career. And gold standard when it comes to what happens with the league as far as being a president of basketball operations for the Pistons. He won a championship with them. And in the front office, him being the vice president, executive vice president. And he's the guy that issues out the fines. He's the guy who issues out the suspensions. But now you're going to say on national television that they're all meeting in Joe Dumars. This is going to go past Joe Dumars. That Adam Silver is going to be the one to drop the hammer down. This is going past Joe Dumars. And you said that on national TV. And Joe Dumars was very, very pissed off with you. Now, Joe ain't never got a tech playing, but I'll guarantee you off the court, you're going to understand who Joe Dumars is as a man when you talk to him on the phone. Because I heard you got the call. I heard you got the call, buddy. I heard what happened. Oh, yeah, you got a call. That phone lit up. And it was like, Mr. Stephen A. Smith, this is a Mr. Joe Dumars, head of basketball operations, wants to have a conversation with you. Oh, you didn't messed up. You had a text message first. Said Joe Dumars will be calling you. That was what you got first. That Joe Dumars will be calling you off the record. Don't go on the air and say Joe Dumars is going to talk to you. He told you off the record, I am going to call you. How do I know that conversation happened, Stephen A? How do I know that conversation went down just the way I said it did? You can call me a liar. Oh, go ahead. Go on your Stephen A. Smith show and say, Carcino, you a liar. That ain't happened like that. That didn't happen at all. Please tell me that. But how do I know that you was contacted? How do I know you were contacted? I don't know. Maybe it's me. I just don't know how I would know that you were contacted by the EVP the head of basketball operations, Joe Dumars. How would I know this? I don't know. And it didn't stop there. Because here is the terms of that conversation where they felt you was very disrespectful to a black man in position of power. Don't do that. Don't say the black man who's a president and a head of basketball operations can't do his job, so a white man got to come in and make the decisions. That's how Joe Dumars was saying it to you, not verbatim, but he was explaining that to you, something you should have known as a black man when you got that phone call. And that ain't the only phone call you got, but we'll keep that off the record. I'll say that one for the Patreon. But you ostracized a black man who's the head of basketball operations and minimized him to praise a white man. That's what they're going to look at it as. You said this man could not do his job, so we going to just blow by him. It's this bigger than Joe Dumars. Really? Why is it bigger than Joe Dumars now? He's the head of basketball operations. He's the guy that gives out all the fines. Yes, they all gonna sit down and come up with a decision, but ultimately it's him that's got to bring the hammer down. And when you said that on the air, you pissed off not just Joe Dumars, you pissed off Isaiah Thomas, you pissed off Adam Silver. Adam Silver didn't like that either, that you went on air and said what you said. He didn't like that. Joe Dumars is a good friend of his and is a professional. And he's been knowing Joe Dumars since 1992 when he went to Dream Team 2. Joe Dumars is on Dream Team 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were all mad because don't do that. They all was meeting, but yeah, it's not going to be an Adam Silver decision. It's not going to be a unilateral thing in that place. No, this was Joe is going to bring the hammer down and they're going to find out what's the best decision to make. So you're going to tell Joe Dumars on national TV, you're going to imply that Joe Dumars is beyond him. He's the head of basketball operations. That is his job. And you're going to say, well, this got to go past him. But it got worse. It got worse. The coverage that they did was so egregious, it got even worse, especially concerning Joe Dumars. Let's go back and listen to what went down.
After this incident again where he says, oh, this is just bad luck. It wasn't bad luck. You intentionally hit the man in the face. I'm a huge Draymond Green fan. I understand how important he is. But to me, it has to be a very, very firm hand on him. Because it seems to me that it doesn't matter what the league's policy is on him. It feels to me that he feels entitled, Stephen A. He comes across as entitled. As if, okay, well, I did it. I don't really apologize for things I don't really mean to do, but I guess I'm apologizing, but that wasn't intentional. It was bad luck. And the relationship with Joe Dumars, I'm glad you said it goes above Joe Dumars. And I think Joe Dumars is great at his job. But that relationship, it feels like Joe Dumars needs to be recused from that decision-making on it because of their relationship. Because Draymond's called Joe Dumars a father figure before. And I'm just
Dumars has any problem making a decision.
Agree, but perception is reality, right?
But it depends. If you got to give what if he suspends him 20 games?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
To me, it doesn't feel like there's been a firm hand on the way Draymond has been handled throughout the course of time.
You know, it's funny. I can't get into Draymond.
So the attack seemed to be on Joe Dumars. He needs to be recused from his job. And when they had that conversation with Stephen A., Joe Dumars was very adamant when he was talking to you about how hurtful it is to hear a black man on television say that a black man in a position to do his job can't do his job. And you're going to, when he's never been that person ever in his life, you're going to put that and label him as that, as a man who can't do his job and imply it because he cares about him. But a white man above him, he can do the job. Adam Silver has to do this. Adam Silver knows Draymond Green probably just like Joe do. So why it has to go to him? Why you put him on a pedestal? Joe Dumars is the head of basketball operations. The board of governors all gonna sit down and come up with the idea of what they finna do. But the guy that's gonna, the voice of reason and the basketball guy, the one that knows the fines and what should be, that person is Joe Dumars. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate that. Right. So that's what he was doing that was egregious. And what was you doing? You turned into stuttering Stephen A. Smith. I'll apologize. I was trying to. You were throwing Jay Will under the bus on the phone, was you? Don't worry. Jay will never know. No, he heard you. He didn't care about Jay Will. He cared about what you said. What you said hurt him. Jay Will is emotional. You know about that. But it hurt him to hear you say that to him, about him, and ostracize him like that. So what happened today? What happened today when y'all got on the phone and everything? That's why today was a whole different, well, let me take that back. Thursday. So it's, everybody track of days is different. What happened Thursday? Let me take him to what happened Thursday. That's what happened Thursday. Joe Dumars appears on First Take. The man who's quiet, don't normally do a lot of interviews. He came on First Take to clarify all these little questions about what he was going to do when it came to Draymond Green, a man that you claim couldn't make no decisions. He said, I'm going to be on the show. Joe D pulled up. So they clarified it right on your show. And you asked him all these softball questions. You was the stuttering Stephen A. again. Yeah. 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 See, that's what them bad boy Pistons do. You think just because Joe quiet, he was the nice one. No, he a man. He ain't gonna let you disrespect him. You ain't gonna get away and just disrespect a black man who was doing his job. So that's why Joe Dumars was on the show today, people. That's why he pulled up personally and explained why he made the decision after they came down and he put the hammer down and said it was about let's get this guy some help. There's been a lot of decisions made that Joe Dumars, that they collectively have made a different decision, and Joe Dumars has changed that decision to something else. But they ostracize him as a man who can't make decisions because that's why they use black people and try to ostracize our position and say we are not qualified. We need some white guy. A white guy could be a janitor. He said Lambeer would have broke his knees. He still might get his knee broke by Lambeer. Lambeer, while he walk out, Lambeer trip him. Oh, gotta watch it there, Stephen A. It's wet over there. Lambeer! Bad boys for life. Oh, I'm not making the mountain out of a molehill. They are. This is what happened. I'm detailing what you didn't see, what you didn't hear. Once this was made, Joe Dumars came and pulled up. So it ain't me making a mountain out of a molehill. They did that. When they disrespected the president and the head of basketball operations, he pulled up on the scene. He called him and checked him on the phone and said, all right, well, I'm going to be on there tomorrow morning. So what they was yapping about on Wednesday, come Thursday, Joe D pulled up on the scene. And I dare him to call me a liar. Tell me that didn't happen. Stephen A. Smith, that you didn't get a phone call. And Adam Silver wasn't happy with how you worded things. He wasn't happy. Joe Dumars definitely wasn't happy. And that's probably the first time you heard Joe Dumars disappointed in you as a black man. Yeah, you used to quiet Joe, who just sit there and go through the motions, and you was a stuttering little punk when it came to Draymond. I mean, when it came to Joe D doing this interview. If y'all get a chance, please watch
A lot
this.
of times people get caught up into like a number. Like, what's the number? And we didn't want to do that. What we wanted to do was, first of all, we knew that there would be some level of punishment, but we didn't want that to be the focus. We wanted the focus to be on how can we help Draymond as well. And we thought indefinite was the best way to do that. So people don't get caught up on here. What's the number? Is it too low? Is it too high? Indefinite means get yourself right. We want to see you at your best. And the best way for you to do that is to get yourself mentally and emotionally back to where you need to be. And so that's how we got to indefinite.
Joe Dumars, appreciate you being on the show, buddy. Thank you so much. I remember when Ja Morant ultimately got suspended by Commissioner Adam Silver, and one of the things that reportedly was transpiring was the fact that Adam Silver was taken aback because he had a conversation with Ja Morant, and then after that, something else happened, and that really turned him off. I'm going to ask you that same question because I know that you have spoken to Draymond Green on several occasions throughout his career. I know how much he looks up to you. On a personal level, not that personality had something to do with this decision, but on a personal level, how much did that factor into your decision, your part in this decision, considering the multitude of conversations you had personally had with him throughout the years?
You want to see guys grow. Stephen, you want to see guys grow, man. And you want to do what's best for them. Look, there's a role to play here. And the role is to, when someone crosses the line, we really have to step in and adjudicate that. We have to. There's no getting around that. But we can also be human in this too. How can we help this guy? Because clearly something is going on. Clearly he's crossed the line and we have to deal with it. But there's a human element, Stephen. And the human element part of this for me is how can we help this kid get better? And that's a kid, he's 33 years old. But for me, these young guys, any of these young guys, whether it's Ja, whether it's Draymond, whoever it is, yes, we have a job to do. But also, man, we can be humans to help these guys get better and grow.
You see, he don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear help the guy. They don't want to help nobody. They just want to make fun of their downfall and make content off of it till they die. They ain't no help this guy. And I say the biggest help is get him the hell away from LeBron James. Because he was doing great before he was around him. Once he got around LeBron, went straight to hell, didn't it? I mean, I'm just stating facts. They went to 5 straight NBA finals. Then he started hanging out with LeBron. He signed over with Clutch. Started drinking Lobo and all this tequila with wine. He's sitting in there in the barbershop getting drunk. Then he couldn't make a goddamn layup. He was recording a triple single every night. He was a walking double-double. Now he's a triple single man. He was a triple single with cheese. That was a brand new stat, the triple single. Joe Dumars had to guard Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper. He had all these tough 2-guard assignments. He was only 6'4". But a stout defender because he anticipates. When you learn people's moves, because you play them a few times, you learn what they like and what they don't like. Joe Dumars, as Michael Jordan will tell you, was his toughest because Joe is going to give you the same thing on the offensive side. Normally, the people that guard Mike Their job is like, just worry about guarding Mike. Don't worry about putting up points. Joe Dumars got to guard Mike, but he going to still give you 22 points. And that's how Jordan used to approach the game. Mike used to guard, like he used to worry about Dumars and Clyde Drexler. But he only had to play Drexler twice a year. So he's just like, when I'm guarding Clyde, if he hit 5 shots in a row, I'm okay with that. Because that means good. I hope he hit 5 jumpers, because that means he's going to stay out there all night. I ain't got to worry about him coming inside the paint. He going to just shoot jumpers all night. But if Joe Dumars hit 5 in a row, then I know I'm in trouble. I'm going to have a long night. Because Joe Dumars is only going to do that. He's going to go to the post. He's going to go from the wing, left. He's going to do everything. I got to get him out this rhythm. Now, Clyde, Drexler is different. He hit 5 jumpers early in the game. I ain't got to worry about Clyde. Clyde going to shoot out there all night. And I'm glad he got it. Because he's going to end up shooting him out of the game. That's how Mike broke things down. Now, the fact that he pulled up there and he tried to tell Stephen A. it's about getting Draymond some help. It was about getting Draymond help. Everybody's looking at the amount of days. It's about getting this young man some help. That's what it's about. More than anything in the world, let's get Draymond Green some help. That's Joe Dumars. Now, I bet you not one person in the board of governors was ever thinking about that. He's like, let's suspend this guy indefinitely and let him go through the course to get him some help and try to help these guys instead of putting a number on it. 20 games should be enough. Okay, he come back after 20 games, he do it again, then what? Something's going on. Let's try to get this guy some help. Let's see what's happening here. But he's trying to make it look like, oh, well, Joe, that's your homeboy. Like a black guy can't do his job. And that's the problem with Stephen A. Smith. That's the egregious point.
We know his actions obviously played a significant role, of course,
and it got him pulled up on
in the suspension. How much did his words play a role in this particular decision when he goes into a press conference and he says, I'm going to be Draymond no matter what? Everybody's expecting something different, but this is me. This is what I'm going to be, even though that wasn't necessarily his position the other night after he hit Nurkic. Nevertheless, he had a history of saying he's going to be Draymond. What kind of role does...
So now he's going on a narrative that because Draymond said in a press conference, he going to be Draymond. It wasn't even after this incident. This was after the one incident that he said it. That he gonna be Draymond. He said it one time in an interview. Now they trying to say that's what he say all the time. He said that all the time, that he gonna be Draymond. Like, he already said it. He gonna be Draymond no matter what. So he's saying you gotta accept it. So they already painting a narrative, even though he didn't say that when this just happened. That was during the Rudy Gobert situation, but again, the Rudy Gobert situation wasn't even a thing about him and Rudy. That was about him helping out Clay. Now, all of a sudden, you got this incident, which I believe was completely accidental. I don't think he tried to hit him at all. And like he said, bad luck. Hanging with LeBron is bad luck, bad luck. Now, you saw Stephen A. paint this picture, tried to swing everyone into this, this whole inferior thing that they got about, well, you got Draymond here, so Draymond, his prowess is a little bit different. Draymond Green is like, because we all black, we all get along. But Joe Dumars, for him being from Saginaw, Michigan, from Detroit. He played for the Pistons. Most of these young guys came up, went to Joe Dumars Academy. But the thing is, Joe Dumars tried to help all these kids. And he look at them as kids, even though he's saying Draymond's like 33 to Joe's in his 60s. These guys, they're like kids to them. So they're trying to help people. So when you trying to say, did Draymond's words have something to do with it because of what he said? That's an ESPN BS that you trying to push.
Does that play in the kind of decisions that came down in regards to him?
Very little to none, Stephen. Like, guy going to a press conference saying something is one thing. Look, I've been around long enough to know that guys chirp, they say things, they stand their ground. That happens. Those aren't the things that really get your attention as the actions on the floor. It's the actions in the games. It's these things that cross the line. That's where you really have to step in, and we have to come together at the league office, meet, discuss this stuff, and try to come up with the best solutions. But the words themselves at a press conference, very little, Stephen.
Right. Words at a press conference, Stephen A. You should know better. Words at a press conference? No. It's the action on the court. The game that they play, Stephen A. Smith? The one that get all sweaty, running up and down? The one that's on TV, the game that you're talking about, supposedly? That's what's going to get them in trouble. Nothing that he said in a press conference. This was about this. It's not about y'all trying to paint some narrative of what he said at a podium 2 events ago. He says Draymond will be Draymond, so he's going to do that. He's not. That's what they're talking about, trying to help him. They're trying to help him. Let's try to get him some help. While y'all dedicating the whole segment to tearing the man down. What are you guys doing to help Draymond?
Is the league of the mindset that this is something that they should have done earlier, that in a roundabout way, I don't want to use the word enabler because that's a bit too strong, but perhaps if a heavy hand had been brought down upon them where an indefinite suspension had happened, per se, let's say after the Sabonis incident or after the Rudy Gobert incident, that maybe this could have been curtailed? Is that the mindset of the thinking of the league office at all?
No, we don't really Monday morning quarterback here. We do what we think is best in the moment. And the decisions that we've made over the last, 18 months or so, every one of them was like deeply discussed internally here. These weren't just like quick snap decisions. I mean, like a lot of conversations that have gone on. And then you come out with the best decision that you can make at that time. So we really don't go back and look at it. Even like this one, Stephen, a lot of conversations the last 2 days on this. And indefinite is where we came out, and everyone here agrees with it. And we think it's what's best for him. It's what's best for the Warriors. And it's what's best for the league.
What does indefinite mean from a minimum perspective? We understand that the number there's no number attached to it, and I get what you were saying initially. But nevertheless, Mike Wilbon was on Get Up with me a bit earlier, and the great Mike Wilbon and what he was saying. He said if indefinite ends up amounting to a 5 or a 7 game suspension, that would not be a good thing. So when you say the word indefinite from a minimum perspective, can you give us any kind of clue whatsoever what that entails?
That's like not listening to the man who was just sitting there speaking to you. The man just sat there and talked to you, Stephen A. And you act as if you didn't listen to the words that came out of his mouth. You're just waiting for your turns to speak. This is a poor interview. And it's poor because he's trying to justify all of the things that he got cussed out about early on by trying to go over their things, and he's trying to throw lob alley-oops for Joe to just go ahead, but trying to reiterate the points that they were making on the show. But this is where he's lousy at. He's trying to bring in Mike Wilborn because he was on the show talking with Mike Wilborn, and who's nothing but a hack. And he wants to bring Mike Wilborn into this situation and all of his trash media coverage that he does. He should be on damn YouTube because he definitely should be out of there. He's just egregious. What he does adds nothing to this game, to the sport, nothing. Nobody tunes in for Wilborn. He's just trash to me. I'm just like, dude, this is a hack. But then once again, he's going to, what does a definite means? If a definite means 3 games to 4 games to 5 games, once again, in the beginning, Joe Dumars told you this was not about games. It was about getting this guy some help. Now you're once again trying to say, well, Mike Wilborn said like it indefinitely means this many games. You're like not hearing him. You're going into games again. You're going right back to games. How many games? Like I know you can't give a definitive a number of games, but what is really indefinite? Because indefinite could be this many games, that many games. What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying?
Stephen, we have no number. And here's the reason why. And please let Mike know this. The reason we don't have a number is because the help that he needs to get, getting himself better, is what's most important. And I don't want to, Adam doesn't want to, we don't want to put a number on, you have this many games to go out and get the help that you need to get better. And so leave it as indefinite until that time comes. And that's why, even when you say indefinite and then you throw out a minimum number on it like that, Stephen, you're not really living up to what you're saying that you really want to do. And so we're going to leave it as indefinite for him to get better. And when that time comes, he'll be back. But tell Mike that there is no number that we have here. Andre?
There is no number that we have here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they came here from the San Croix. We know about Stephen A's past. Now, the thing about this that makes it very interesting for those who don't know and don't understand what's going on here is that these guys always try to paint people into a corner to tell you one thing and then do another. Joe Dumars spoke on helping him and speaks about helping him. But he pulled up on this show because what y'all did was so egregious and reckless and just tearing down a man who was just down. Like, you supposed to be a friend of Draymond, Stephen A. You came on his podcast show and everything, and basically you're tearing him down. One's not even trying to hear him out, the whole nine. And he just like, okay, they're going to tear me down? Well, that's cool. All right. I see how they doing. You know, that's it. He's not going to get all excited. There's no need to get extra. Just go ahead and take care of what you got to take care of. Joe ain't the guy because he's black, neither anybody or anything. He said, what he said? Joe ain't the guy, and it isn't because he's black neither. Before anybody say anything, Joe and Adam putting people's livelihood in danger. Whose livelihood they put in danger? Who's in danger in the NBA? I'm trying to figure that out. The international players has caught up and surpassed these USA NBA athletes. Facts. Yes, in a lot of ways they have, but our best players will beat them. You see, here's the thing. The majority of these guys haven't been trained properly. Some guys are very natural at the game. Like, they come out of the womb with the knowledge of knowing the game. All they need to do is really be coached Those are phenomenons. There's guys you can go to about every basketball camp in the world. They can go to every practice. They can know every play like the back of their head. They just don't have the skill set to get it done. They don't. I don't know if it's confidence. It might take them years to develop it, or some just don't get it. They can go as far as they can. They just can't get to that next level. Then there's some guys who can go out, barely look at a playbook, can read a play, drink beer, get drunk, do whatever, walk on the court, and it's like magic. When the lights come on, boom, he's on. And once his game's over, he can take pictures, autographs, do the conducted interview, and bam, he's right back doing whatever he needs to do. Well, here's the thing. He stepped on a guy's chest. He got suspended for a game for that, right? Then they suspended him a game. It was in the playoffs. He was suspended for a game. The guy was holding his leg, which got him the foul. So the other guy, Sabonis, calls that, trying to get a reaction out of Draymond, and he got it. He was holding on to Draymond's foot. Now, what if he pulled Draymond's ankle and Draymond trying to pull and run, and you pulling on a guy's foot? That's dangerous. You could have popped a bone in his foot or something. Yep. Well, he's going to do what he got to do. At this point, I see it as a position of embarrassment. It's humiliating to me at this point to see people go to such extremes to, I want to say, associate themselves with. When you want to associate yourself to something and you don't quite get the picture, then you start to see, when things start to unfold, you'll get the big message that everyone is talking about. I want to say not really, because let's say you look at the scope of things and you look at the way they punishing Draymond. If you punish Draymond Green the same way that you punish LeBron James and everyone else, they're gonna do it, by committee. It's like it is. It's in every sport. You think Tom Brady's gonna get the same punishment as Leo Diploma? And you're like, who is Leo Diploma? Exactly. Do you think that guy's gonna get the same punishment as Tom Brady? They're gonna assess the problem based on the ratio effect of how much revenue we're earning here. So LeBron James is never gonna get the same punishment as, let's say, D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo gonna get thrown under the bus. before they do anything to LeBron. No, I wanted to be in the mix, with everybody. I wanted to be the one that was completely, on the level with the situation. But, once again, you always have the people that's dead right about the situation, and you got people that's dead wrong. So okay, so your solution is suspend Draymond and take Draymond out in the middle of the playoffs for because he stomped the guy in the chest who was holding his leg. So that warrants major suspension. And he didn't have any incident with Rudy Gobert. Klay Thompson got into an incident with another player that wasn't Rudy Gobert on Minnesota, right? Rudy runs over to grab Klay Thompson, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to grab your own guy. And their guys grab him. He saw him going to grab him while the other player was going to hit Klay Thompson. So if Draymond does nothing, the other guy's holding Klay for Klay to get punched. Dre didn't let that happen. He ran over there and grabbed Rudy, put him in the headlock, and pulled him off of him. Let's say he comes back from this and then he does it again. Now they could talk about voiding his contract because now they tried to get him help. They took the proper steps. So you got to understand there's a union too. So you got to take procedures. You just can't up and fire somebody. They said, okay, well, you guys try to help him. You just threw him out there. So this guy could have been going through something. Well, when you do things and it goes off, that's what guys are going to do. Basketball is a physical game. So if Draymond's game of play falls off, who they're going to blame? Like, let's say Draymond Green doesn't recover his game back. Where do we go from here? Yeah, you say they're garbage, but where are they gonna go without Draymond? It's not like this team is dominant without Draymond. It ain't like when Zach LaVine ain't on the court or something. The team actually plays better without Zach LaVine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. They talk about how soft the league is, and then some little minor thing like this happened. Oh my God, Dre must be stopped. The guy flopped on the floor and everything, trying to draw and get Draymond tossed. I've seen wrestling blows look worse than that. Yep. Wasn't no gimmicky tactics. If you look at the clip, what was he doing? He was turning around, trying to swing his arm, and he turned around and hit the guy. The guy walked up and got knocked out. It's kind of hard for me to blame somebody in that scenario. Right. It's a bang bang play. A guy was turning around, his back was turned. So if somebody's getting jumped, Draymond can't come help. I mean, guys used to fight each other, knock each other up, slap each other, then go have a beer. Mm-hmm. He didn't hit him with a closed fist. I've seen wrestling blows look worse than that. Yeah, well, I think that the fact that Stephen A. Smith was called out by Steve Kerr and the NBA the way they came through and they delivered on their promise of, you know, showing up on the show and clarifying it for the public once it was official what the decision was. They took about a day or two to come out with what the decision was they were going to do, and they made it quick and swift, of what the punishment should be. Let him be indefinite till he go gets the help. No matter how many games that's needed, they need to see some improvement. They've had a conversation with Draymond Green about it, so people can go from there. All right. Like I said, they said Rasheed Wallace did an interview saying it's him and Rip Hamilton fault because Draymond grew up in the locker room with them during the championship run and learned they culture early. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, he was on the Pistons a lot. So coming in there, watching those guys and the relationship he got with Joe Dumars, and he's like, oh, this might be one he might have to recuse himself. No, that's not how it works. Joe Dumars and Draymond relationship is not going to affect the decision. Punishment will be suffice. Well, I'm saying that I'm okay with the indefinite, trying to get him some help and all that, but I believe 100% that was an accident that wasn't meant to happen. Nothing else, none, really to say else about it except for that. So anyway, I'm gonna holler at you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Deuces.